What on earth is going on in the AFL? Round 20 was perhaps the most boring of them all and only highlighted more the massive disparity between the top and bottom half in 2025 until we got to Sunday afternoon. Thank God the top 8 is still close, with top 4 and home finals still at stake, because a lot of football fans don't have a reason to watch a lot of the upcoming games. But there are still some key takeaways from the round that are important. But let's start off with a couple things caught on camera that really show the uncompetitive nature of a large amount of these games. You might have seen this on Thursday night. It's a classic Jack Ginnivan Smarty Pants celebration, but it was humorous at the time. If you don't know what it was, it is a copy of the Telstra ad dance, which has been becoming a little viral of late. Some thought it was the Conor McGregor dance, but in comparison, it is from those weird Telstra ads. The point is, it was done after the first goal of the game. Ginnivan was literally dancing on the Blues after his first kick, and although the margin wasn't a blowout, to anyone watching, it was clear the result was in no danger. Talking about danger, how about Patrick Dangerfield eating a kebab on the sidelines as Geelong demolished North Melbourne by 101 points? I suppose there isn't much else to do, and it would have been good viewing as Jeremy Cameron was about to kick a couple more goals to get to 11 on the night. It had shades of former Geelong coach Mark Thompson eating a sandwich in the coach's box, watching his Cats team play against West Coast. Again, I'm not sure it shows the most respect to North Melbourne to sit as the sub and munch on a big kebab. But Carlton and North Melbourne weren't the only sides from round 20 to get a little bit clowned on by their opponents. But let's go to the game of the round, a 3:20 Sunday afternoon game at Marvel with two bottom 8 sides. A 46-point lead for Melbourne at three-quarter time, and looking like another blowout in a boring round. St Kilda then went bang. Mason Wood off a wing was charging forward, and Max Hall and Hunter Clark through the middle of the field took over. It was remarkable how quickly things changed. Melbourne had their chances late to put the result beyond doubt. Clayton Oliver had this obvious one, and that left the door ajar for Nasiah Wanganeen-Milera, or better known as Nasiah the Messiah. One of the best marks of the season, a specky sandwich between two Melbourne players, then an ice-cool finish. A 666 infringement, a horrific error, led to what seemed like a set play. Rowan Marshall was so clever to pull his kick instead of the expected long bomb, and of course it landed with Wanganeen-Milera, who started the play. It was another arrow straight kick, even though all that was needed was a point. Sure, Melbourne blew it, and now hold the unwanted record of biggest three-quarter time margin overcome, but it feels like this says more about the Saints. Sure, they showed heart, fight and desire, but the game says the club has to keep Wanganeen-Milera. He's by far their best player, and is a generational talent. Forget about De Koning or any other marquee player. Nasiah the Messiah has to come first, and the checkbook should be wide open. Melbourne might officially be broken now, and like Carlton, you would think big decisions will be made in the off-season because the once great names from not too long ago are no longer getting it done. Besides that epic comeback, it was the weekend of little brother stepping up to big brother, at least for the most part. Clearly the Gold Coast Suns made the statement of the round, demolishing Brisbane by 66 points. It was big and showed the Suns are no longer scared or intimidated by the Lions, who previously had been the more physical team, especially around the contest. Matt Rowell and Noah Anderson led the way, and both are growing up right in front of us. Fremantle took care of West Coast easily, which was no surprise, but you always have to stay on guard in these state rivalry games. Hayden Young is well and truly back, winning the Ross Glendinning medal with 3 goals in just 57% time on ground. Surely that is some kind of record. Then the Giants on Friday night pulled off the second best comeback of the round. At one stage down 35 points to Sydney, who had beaten them the previous 5 times before they exploded with 9 goals in the third quarter. It came after a Toby Green jab at Tom Papley, who he labelled as overweight, in a halftime interview with Fox Footy's Ben Dixon. But in classic Toby fashion, he also got himself suspended for this dirty play on Isaac Heaney. Still, the Giants will take the win and have proven this year that they are as explosive an offense as any other team in the competition. What a game it will be against the Western Bulldogs on Thursday night. But one of the little brother teams did fail to show up. That was Port Adelaide. In Ken Hinkley's final showdown, it was his worst. A showdown record 98-point loss thanks to an 8-goal Adelaide last quarter, which was electrifying for the Crows' home crowd. Adelaide are certainly the form team of the competition and seem to be getting stronger the longer the season goes on. If they get a top 2 finish and a home final at the Adelaide Oval, it will be hard to not picture them being one of the teams on grand final day. More graffiti was plastered outside Alberton, and it's looking like a dismal finish to the Hinkley era in a season which never really got kick-started for the Power. But the worst of the round is saved for last. It wasn't a depleted Essendon or weak West Coast team, but North Melbourne, a 101-point loss with no team defence. Go watch First Crack on KO if you can, because Lee Montagna shows fantastic behind the goal vision of the mess that the Kangas defence currently is. Felt like through the middle of the season, North Melbourne was showing steps in the right direction, but 2 really bad losses in a month has faded hope once again. Now Tristan Cherry and Nick Larkey were 2 significant outs, but after Saturday night, North are now on track to concede over 100 points per game for the 3rd straight season. Now they don't have a Harris Andrews or Darcy Moore, but I think all North Melbourne fans want is a middle of the pack defence, not another bottom 2 one. They are still incredibly young. Parker, Daniel and Darling do distort their average games played, but the defensive side is barely getting better. It's hard to know where to go from the outside, and clearly inside Clarkson and his team can't solve the issues either. Maybe North Melbourne just don't have enough talent behind the ball, the players don't want to defend, don't understand the system, or can't operate the one in place. The answer, no matter which of those options is picked, is not good, and without a first round pick, it adds even more pain to what is looking like another bottom 2 finish for a 6th straight season. Many of those easy goals went to Jeremy Cameron on the night, who was half on track to get 100 goals. Now he probably needs 3 or 4 finals to do it, and another couple bags of 9 or 10, but it's possible. 69 goals with 4 games left in the home and away season. If he can snag 20 or so in this last 4 weeks, that should get him up to the high 80s or 90, and then roughly 10 would be left in 3 or 4 games. However, because they are finals, it would be against the best opposition in cutthroat games. Even if he can reach 90, that would be a great achievement, as we haven't seen that mark hit since 2008.